Hello and welcome to this special broadcast of the Orleans Chamber of Commerce and the Ottawa Business Journal. My name is Michael Curran from the Ottawa Business Journal. Happy to be here at a Orleans Chamber of Commerce event. We're at the beautiful Camelot Golf and Country Club here in the East End of Ottawa. And we're very happy today to be launching a special campaign called Orleans for Your Business. This is a campaign to promote the merits of doing business in this great community in the East End of Ottawa. And to explore some of the great reasons to do business here, we've assembled a panel of local entrepreneurs and business people to share their business stories with you, the audience on YouTube. And we'll walk through their stories and ensure that you'll be impressed by these great entrepreneurs. Let me introduce them right now. To my right, I have Chantal Hackett, who's a professional singer, but maybe more pertinent to this discussion, an entrepreneur, a longtime Orleans resident, and she runs a great studio called Sing House Studio. To Chantal's right, we have the one and only John Liptak, the president and CEO of Oakwood, which is a remarkable home construction, custom home, and really he has really embraced a lot of innovation and technology. We'll be exploring that in just a minute, John. And we have, of course, Brian Dagenet, who's a local real estate developer, the president and CEO of Black Sheep Development. And Brian is advocating for a remarkable sports facility that could be built in just a short time here in Orleans. So that's enough of me talking. We want to hear the panelists. So I'm going to start with Chantal and simply ask, tell us a little bit about you as a person and also your business here in Orleans.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Chantal Hackett. I'm a professional singer, first and foremost. I also own a music school here in Orleans. I'm a vocal coach, and I created the school. So I wrote my notes here. Just a second. I just want to make sure. So basically, our school, we do vocal, guitar, piano, and ukulele lessons. We also do pop star birthday parties and pop star camps. And we really specialize in artist development. So we really want to focus on Orleans talent, give them a voice, especially youth, and promote the talent that we have here in Orleans, right? We're also a strong community. We call ourselves the singing addicts. We're obsessed with singing, and that's what we do here, so that's me.
Thank you very much, Chantal. We'll pass it down to John. John, I think everyone in the room knows Oakwood here, a multi-generational company that has its roots right here in our own community. But tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about Oakwood in a nutshell, as they say.
Thank you, Michael. Is the mic on?
You're good.
I'm good. Okay, my name is John Liptak. Our family owns Oakwood Designers and Builders. We also own Ottawa Land Bank, Sirius Cabinets, which is a kitchen cabinet manufacturing plant. We also own software companies. One of them is 123 Works. The other one's 123 Projects. We also have some other interests in other companies. I work with my family. I'm blessed. I work with my two daughters and my wife and my son-in-law. We're basically covering the spectrum of construction, design, and build, both residential and commercial, all the way through to software. So we're kind of with our feet in both waters in the sense that we do the technology side as well as the construction side. So that's about it.
Thanks. That's a great introduction to Oakwood, and we'll hear more about you in just a second. Brian, we're very happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself and the project that you are building some momentum around.
Sure. Well, I love all things real estate. I've been in real estate since the turn of the century. I guess that makes me sound a little bit old. I don't like to describe it that way. Mostly in the residential space, but over the last number of years, last 4 or 5 years, transitioning more into the commercial space, culminating with our Black Sheep project. This is a wonderful project. We've been at it for a little bit over 2 years. And what started out as a single building with a single tenant has now grown into many buildings with the facility on the front cover there today as the signature piece, but many buildings with many tenants. So we're very excited to see this come to fruition.
That's great, Brian. And we'll stay with you for a second. I wanted to ask a question of all three of our panelists. Innovation seems to be so important in business today. You know, you can't really stand still. You need to be rethinking the business. You need to be developing in that. implicitly, real estate involves all sorts of innovation. I'm sure John would agree with that. But tell us about this facility in Orleans a little bit more, and how you're embracing innovation and kind of different thinking, if I can put it that way.
Well, the same old just doesn't work. I think behind any good business idea is a good story. And the innovation, what we're trying to bring to Maire-Bleu, I mean, it's many different things, but one of the things that I particularly like that stands out in our project is the environmental piece, the green energy component to it. And we're all familiar with green energy. What we're trying to do a little bit different is to show the business case. We all have good, noble reasons to be environmentally conscious, but we also want to show that there's a business case. So we build a building to a higher standard. It will last longer. It will perform better. It will be less expensive to operate, and that will give our clients, our tenants, an advantage over others.
That's great. And I couldn't think, you would pass a microphone over to John here, I couldn't think of a better transition, John. Talking about green energy and Oakwood, I've sat with you in meetings for hours talking about this, and you've talked to me and informed me about power walls and solar power panels on rooftops. Tell me a little bit about how Oakwood, and I think you're such a great example of this, has embraced innovation. You might even need an hour to do that, but try to keep it to 60 seconds or more.
Thank you, Michael. Basically, again, we're with one foot in technology. The other side is construction. And so we're adopting the new technologies. We're kind of at the tip of the spear for the new technologies into building. Some of the new projects we have coming on board are off-the-grid housing, and obviously we have some partners like Empower for Tesla power walls. The new Tesla solar roof is going to be something quite demanding, and what will happen is that'll be in high demand as time comes on. We also have some other IoT technologies coming to the forefront. But in speaking of what we've already done, we built the highest LEED Platinum building in Canada with our facility at Taylor Creek, and that brought all new technologies to the forefront. For instance, you walk in, there are no switches, everything is automated, computerized. Even our design center, we have a showpiece there. We won the Best Design Center in Canada award by the Canadian Home Builders Association because of the technologies that we're using in it. For instance, we have 7,500 items on display with QR codes, and that our designers walk around with tablets. We scan the code in, it brings up a picture, a high-definition picture of the product, and then we have access to another 150,000 items in our database. So we can basically do a complete home material selection process in about two site visits of 3 hours, which is unheard of. So that's how we're using the technology now. We've already a proof point there, and then the new stuff is awesome. That's coming to the market soon.
Terrifically exciting to hear all of that. Chantal, a lot of people think innovation means technology. I think innovation can absolutely happen in the arts as well. Tell us about how you've kind of embraced innovation inside Sing House.
Oh yeah, well, I'm loud now. I used to go to class, and for music class, and I always thought it was a little long, and the teacher picked my songs, and so I thought when I create my school, I want to make sure that it's fun. I really wanted to make sure that they're coming in and coming out like, wow, I want to come back. So we tailor all the songs. They pick their songs. It's almost like they are the ones in charge of their lesson, and we make sure that they're very happy and they're getting the instruction. We also offer a lot of performance opportunities, so they don't just come in and come out. We really try and get them out there, especially in Orleans, which is like such a supportive community for that. We also, like I said earlier, we're communities, so we host events on the side, like hot cocoa parties, caffeine parties, listening rooms, where they can come in and they're 6 years old, 7 years old, or let's say 20 years old, whatever the age is, and they come in and talk about music and start networking at an early age, because I remember, and a lot of artists are introverts, so it's very important for them to learn those skills at an early age, and why not talk about music, right? So that's one of the things we do. We also use a lot of social media, because that's where everything is, especially our students, and their parents actually are a lot on that. We have a YouTube series called SHS TV. Right now we're into SHS Diaries, where we grab some of our students. We ask them, like, why did you start singing in the first place? You know, what stemmed? and we talk a lot about mental health issues, and they all go on there and help each other out. It's a little forum. So we try to just use the technology, I would say, and really give them that ultimate experience that I wish I had when I was starting out. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're going to be an artist, especially a singer these days, social media is going to be such an element if you go professional. So it's good you're introducing that at a young age.
Absolutely.
So Tal, I wanted to ask you and the other panels. We'll stick with you for a second. You know, we live in a connected world, both from an internet perspective, but also a transportation perspective. I know you grew up in Orleans, but you could have established a business anywhere, and yet you decided to put your studio right here in Orleans. Tell us about why you wanted to locate here in this community.
Yeah, well, to be honest, the best talent is in Orleans. We've got some great singers here. Come on. Musicians as well. I always say singers, but musicians as well. That's first and foremost. Believe it or not, we have people that are in LA, in New York, traveling, and they all live in Orleans, but they're just hiding. So it's my job here to bring them to life and to develop, you know, the talent here. What else? Also, when I was young, I really wanted to go downtown in LA and Toronto, do all this stuff, but my mom was juggling, you know, jobs and such. So I brought it all here. I said, you know, it makes it easier for families to have that big downtown studio feel, but right here in Orleans. And so it's very convenient for families, and families are so supportive here. We're a community after all, so yeah.
Fantastic. John, we're going to go to you next. You already alluded to your showroom. You have invested millions and millions of dollars, perhaps built the most technologically sophisticated and environmentally friendly building probably in the history of Orleans. Why did you decide to build that here in Orleans and not any other part of the city?
Well, it started many years ago when we needed a new headquarters building, and what happened is we already had 4 locations in Ottawa, and we were looking for a new kick-ass place, and we needed a new home. So what happened is our family sat down, Google Maps for about a week, looked at every location that we could possibly think of. We narrowed it down to 17 locations, and we ended up choosing a facility in Taylor Creek, mostly because of the fact that we had family in Orleans and Cumberland. That was kind of the primary reason. There were so many additional reasons that were kind of secondary. The fact that we have a high household income in Orleans, so we had an open market for our business as well as a talent pool. Very highly educated Orleans residents, which gave us a bilingual workforce, and we need smart people, and Orleans has smart people. So awesome. That was a great reason.
And we're very happy you built that in Orleans. And Brian, you're more looking into the future with your project, but the question's the same. You could have built this facility. This facility could have been planned anywhere, and yet you're trying to build it right up there on Mare Blaise here in this. Why is that? Why is this potentially happening in Orleans?
Sure. I mean, you're right. We could have built it in Canada or Barrhaven or in the core, but I think in retrospect, this was the best place to build it by far. Our project, our building is focused on family, fitness, fun. Orleans is obviously tons and tons of family, but also there's medical, sports sciences tie-in, there's a nutritional sciences tie-in with our project, and our neighbor to the south one day is the Mofor.
Yes, that's right.
So in retrospect, it was a bit of a no-brainer to come to Orleans and exist where we're going to build on Mare Blaise.
We're going to start wrapping up the panel, and maybe I'm going to ask you guys to try to answer this if you can in one sentence. So if someone's watching this YouTube video and they're considering a location and maybe putting it here in Orleans, give it maybe like one reason why you would say in one sentence, why come here to Orleans? What would be top of mind to you? I know you touched on some of the points, but what would be top of mind?
Well, I would also add LRT. When it's here, I think it's going to be a bit of a game changer. You know, some of the surveys that we do, informal and otherwise, with families, with local residents, is that Orleans seems that there's a perception out there that Orleans doesn't have as much as Canada or the core, obviously, or even Barrhaven. So, but I think once the Mofor comes on, we're a little bit biased. I think once Black Sheep comes on and LRT, this will be a much more vibrant and visible community, I think.
That's great. And John, if, if you could have a run at that. So what's one reason you think that someone out there, a young entrepreneur, an established business, should place their investment right here in this community of Orleans?
One reason? Basically, look at the past to see the future. I mean, look at Innes Road, look at Trim Road, what's happened with development there. Look at what Brian's doing, Montfort Coming, LRT. Just a whole host of reasons. I mean, Orleans is dynamic. Orleans is the place to be. I think Orleans is the new development area and place to live as well.
That's great. And Chantal, I'm gonna switch up the question a little bit here, and I'll test my French again. So, Orléans est une communauté bilingue fortement liée à la culture franco-ontarienne. Pensez-vous que cela présente un avantage pour Orléans d'un point de vue commercial et communautaire?
Oui, parce que il y a de la musique dans le centre-ville. On va toujours au centre-ville, tu sais, ou comme Brian a dit, des Barhaven, les autres places. Mais ici, à cause qu'on a des organisations, qu'on veut supporter le talent, on veut les nourrir, bon, non, je sais pas mon mot. Le monde va vouloir venir ici pour la musique. Puis déjà, ils viennent ici pour la musique. Je veux dire, ça va juste redevenir un plus gros explosif. Oh, wow! J'espère que j'ai bien dit ça, mais en tout cas, on va vouloir venir à Orléans durant les fins de semaine, c'est sûr, 100%.
Well, thank you to our panelists. That's all the time we have. Maybe a round of applause for our panelists. If you could hold that for me for a second, I just want to show this beautiful magazine. So for our YouTube audience, once again, we're launching Orleans for Your Business here today. You can visit on YouTube. You are already on the internet. So punch in orleanschamber.ca, and you can access a digital copy of this beautiful magazine. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see your business in Orleans. Thanks very much.